Our approach, like I said, we're very heavy on education. First of all, we need to look at defining what health really is. If we can start, because if we don't get a real true picture of what health is, if we begin to lose it, we really won't know how to find it back.
Right.
We won't know the pathway back. So we need to get a correct definition of what it is. And we have been given a very limited definition of what health, which, as I said before, makes us very limited in our approach. So once we understand that health is not just about the body, but it's about the whole person, then you need to understand how that actually integrates into one. I believe most people understand and accept that we're physical, we're emotional, mental, we're spiritual, spirit, soul, and body. What we don't quite understand is how these three integrate into one and how one influences the other. We often don't understand also that any disturbance or imbalance in each area, in any area, will affect the whole because it's designed to function as a whole.
Right.
So our education is very heavy on trying to help people to understand that it's not just what you eat and drink that's affecting your body or creating these symptoms. It's also how you're thinking, how you're responding to stress. And not just that, but it's not, for example, in medicine we say a lot of lifestyle diseases, 80 to 90% of it is stress related. So it's not the stress in life, it's not facing the traffic every day, it's not the job you may not like going to, it is not the marriage that you wish you weren't in, and it's not these type of stresses, it is the individual's response to the stress that has a physiological impact. So we try to help people to understand it's not just your response, but why do you respond that way? So it goes right back to looking at a person's perception in life that causes them to respond. It looks at their value system that shapes their perception. And so, see, when we look at health now, we're looking at the total person. Yes, it also involves what you eat, what you drink, but I can say to you, for example, this is the right way to eat. You need these are the do's and the don'ts. But most people find it challenging to stick to a lot of the do's and the don'ts.
Exactly.
And it's not, the wrong eating is not the problem, it is the wrong thinking that's the problem. It's the mindsets that we have that society has given us and the traditions that we have accepted. So there's an educational process that's needed in order to be able to help us to start shifting our mindsets. Because if we don't get our thinking right, we won't get our diet right. We will try, we will make New Year's resolutions, but we keep falling back.
Yes,
so,
indeed.
So you see, you get an idea, you have to look at the whole person. Yes, you have to understand how diet plays a part, exercise, rest, supplementation, all the rest of it. But you also have to understand how our attitudes, our behaviors, our thinking plays into it, and also the spiritual dimensions of our life, and ultimately how it all integrates in harmony, which is the goal, is to get that harmonious integration and balance, which is the state that we call health.
Right.
If you just think about your body and whether you feel well or not, that's just wellness. But if you can get physical wellness, emotional, mental wellness, spiritual wellness, together now you have that state, what we call our wholeness. You cannot be interested in health and not be interested in life. Again, this goes back to defining health properly. Health and life are synonymous. You can't really separate them. Our perception that we have is that we are living life and health is something good to include. But it's really two sides of the same coin. In other words, if we live life in such a way that will compromise what we call our health, then we are at the same time compromising our life. We are short-circuiting and bringing and compromising our effectiveness, our productivity, our potential. All that's and also if we live in such a way that compromises our life, we're compromising our health. So whichever way you swing it, see, you can't separate the two. So in looking at health, one has to look at life. If you look at life, you cannot separate the fact that we are not just physical beings, but we are spiritual beings.
Right.
And so it's not really so much a personal choice or decision, but it's in the attempt to be effective in our approach, understanding that our goal is not to help you just get rid of symptoms or to feel better, because feeling better does not mean you're well.
Right.
Because a lot of people are walking around and they don't feel sick, but they have lots of imbalances and deficiencies and things that are changing and they're not aware. That will one day show up as a problem, because problems don't just show up one day. There's always a process.
Yes.
And so our goal is not just to help the individual to feel better, but to live more effectively. So when we define health, it's not what it's not. For example, we tend to think it's the absence of disease, it's the absence of symptoms, and once I don't have symptoms, I'm well. It cannot be what is the absence of, it has to be what is the presence of. And it's the presence of an energetic state of wellness where you live life effectively. So we understand very clearly that health and life, because it encompasses the whole, you cannot separate it. And so that's where you become, so we're talking about going beyond symptom control and disease management into restoration. Right. Where we've seen it, I mean, this could be another controversial thing, but we've seen where people, they live on medication for various conditions, and over a period of time, those who are willing to employ the discipline, because it's not going to happen without discipline and effort. For those who are willing to do that, we've seen people being able to just come off their medication and go back to living normal, healthy lives. And that is very possible today. Not just the restoration of health, but the prevention of disease to where...
I was wondering if you're going to get to that.
And you see, that's it. People often ask, I mean, in today's world, look at what we have, look at the quality of food today, look at the environment we live in today. Is it possible to really prevent disease today? Very much it is. It's very much possible. We don't have to wind down a wind anymore, we just press a button. We don't have to wait 40 minutes for potatoes to bake, we can just do 5 minutes in the microwave. Instant this. And we have been conditioned that everything's so quick. Along with that, though, I mean, you see, everything is so interconnected. Along with this fast-paced development, we've also seen with it changes in moral values and expectations for life. Along with that, we are seeing continuous rise in chronic diseases, lifestyle diseases.
Yes.
I mean, if you go onto the World Health Organization website and you look at lifestyle diseases across the board, even though medicine can boast remarkable advancements in technology and developments and know-how and understanding and state-of-the-art facilities, even though there is indeed these advancements, the percentages keep rising all the time. So that tells us that something in the equation is not right, it's missing.
Yeah.
And medicine is pumping billions of dollars every year into research to try to get a handle on reducing the incidences of illnesses. And so you have to, I think that the time has come where we have to re-examine our approach, because the way how we're doing it really is not working. It's helping in small measure. So that Trinidad and Tobago and like other countries around the world, one of the big crises is the healthcare bill. It's rising every year. It's creating more and more production problems in the country, be it individually, families, companies, and nationally. So to me, it's a very important matter that really needs to be, we need to sit down, and the authorities need to really examine it and really focus on it. And what comes to mind now is, I know that the Ministry of Health has a extra in their budgets for disease prevention. But yet what they're doing is nothing near, they may have walkathons, and which is helpful, but that's not going to help you to prevent disease. You need to go deeper than that. You need to get, the understanding needs to be wider, and so the educational process really needs to be there. And these are some of the things that are lacking. And the Center for Disease Prevention, we're hoping to be able to step up and say, here is what we need to consider. And in due time, we want to actually approach government and offer proposals and see how we can help, because we believe what we have to offer can seriously impact the nation.